What's up, tube ubers? Here comes part two. We're gonna back this thing up in a straight line and then back it around a curve into a dock. All right, remember when I said adding this converter dolly is gonna add about 70% difficulty? So hopefully you've all been practicing, because putting another trailer on that's only gonna add about 11% more. So backing in a straight line is just gonna be using that converter dolly to steer our back trailer. So now, as we go back, we're just going to keep an eye on that very back axle. Make sure it's staying where we want and making tiny adjustments with the converter dolly to keep it going the direction we want. So we're going to be steering our dolly with our front trailer, steering our back trailer with our converter dolly. Remember, the slower you go, the easier it is to correct. So just slowly keep going back, and as things don't go where you want them to, don't be afraid to do a little bit of a pull up here and there, just enough to straighten it, and then go back again. Keep going and keep going, keeping everything in line as much as you can. Keeping everything in line means if you make an adjustment with your tractor, after you make that adjustment, hurry and swing it back around and get it lined up with that front trailer again. If you made adjustments with your dolly, hurry and get that trailer back square with it again. Just keep everything in line, makes it a lot easier. When it starts getting out of line, just do a little bit of a pull up to straighten whatever area you need to get your tractor back in front of your trailer, to get your front trailer back square with your back trailer, whatever it takes. Just do a little bit of a pull up, get square again, and then continue on. Now you can see in this example that we've got our back trailer really heading towards those cones. And obviously we need this axle all the way over here, about 2 feet over here, to get that straightened out. And we can't just make that adjustment. So we're gonna have to pull up and get everything straightened out. And then we will try to turn that converter dolly to steer that back axle back over where we want it. So we pulled up relatively straight, and now we're gonna slightly turn that converter dolly just a little bit to steer that back axle back over in the direction we want it to go. So we're just going to go really slow, make small adjustments, get that semi-trailer angled to where we can point that tongue the other way, turn the converter dolly just a slight bit, and then hurry and catch back up to it. And just for that slight little turn, we can angle that back trailer away from them cones, back straight again. All the while, keeping everything in line as much as possible. Start getting a little out there, then just do a little bit of a pull up, and then keep going. Just keeping all your stuff in a line, straight a line. The straighter of a line you keep it in, the easier it is to keep it going without your pull-ups. Okay, this time I'll put the camera on the, set it on the trailer here so you can watch this dolly and tongue angle. So we're just gonna back up through the cones again in a straight line. It's just a little bit different angle, so you can watch how it moves. You can see how you just make really small adjustments, going really slow, keeping the two trailers square with each other as much as possible. And see, you get a little bit too much of an angle, just go ahead and do a little quick pull up and straighten it out again. See, that's a little bit too much, keep them straight. So the square that you keep those two trailers with each other, the easier it is. Slow, small adjustments. All right, you can't always get in a perfect straight line and then back up in a straight line. So here we set up a little dock simulation where you can't get straight with the dock. You gotta come in from an angle. Story time. This actually replicates the very first time that I was forced to back up my doubles and really had to learn how to do it. It was about 1995, 96, somewhere back in the late 1900s, as they say. Now, just like with pulling one trailer, or 2 trailers or however many, you want to get this back axle as close to these lines coming out of the dock as you can. It was my first job pulling doubles. We were pulling double flatbeds, hauling hay from southern Utah down to southern California, either to the dairies in Chino or the exporters in Long Beach. I had a backhaul out of Orange, so I had my whole front trailer was loaded with pallets, and my back trailer was 3/4 of the way loaded with pallets, so I was pretty much loaded. I just had to run up to Rancho Cucamonga or somewhere up there to get 2 more pallets before heading home. And I got to the place similar to this, and they had no way to load those 2 pallets on my flatbed from the ground. They had no way to get their forklift down on the ground. So the only way to load it was to put my back trailer up against the dock so they could drive on there with a forklift and put them on. And of course, both trailers were loaded. And with hay doubles, the dolly's permanent. You can't unhook the converter dolly from the back trailer. It's a permanent part of the back trailer. So I couldn't drop trailers and switch trailers with my tractor either. Now remember, when getting set up for this, you also want to make sure you leave enough room between you and the fence in front of you so you can maneuver. And then just like we did with that converter dolly, we want a nice gradual angle, a nice gradual curve. Nothing sharp, you know what I mean? So that's what you're trying to get set up for here. So go ahead and cut it in and leave that room between you and the fence here. So you can, as you start swinging around that curve, you got plenty of room to maneuver. Now just keep making that gentle curve until your back trailer looks like it's gonna go right into them lines into the dock there, you know what I mean? Now at the time, I'd heard of people being able to back doubles, but I'd never actually seen it for myself. Now this was back before we all had cell phones. We didn't have cell phones, we didn't have GPS. We literally would call our home office on a payphone, and they'd give us the company name and an address and sometimes a phone number, and then we were on our own. You just go do your job, just whatever it took to get the job done, and then go home. There wasn't no calling in and saying you didn't feel like working that day. Once they gave you the information, it was up to you to figure out how to get it done. Just go get it done. Now, before I'd gotten this job pulling doubles, I'd been a local driver for a few years, so I was actually really good at backing up one trailer. So I figured I could do it. If anybody could do it, I could do it. Now, I definitely learned a lot that day. I didn't time it, but it must have taken me 30 to 40 minutes to get that back trailer into that dock. But I got her there, got it loaded, headed up the road. So here we're just using the same principles that we were before when we were backing that converter dolly up to that trailer. Just try to keep it all in a nice gentle arc. Keep it going slow. And keep that back trailer, you know, kind of where we want it to go. And do our pull-ups to keep everything in the line that we want them in. So it's crucial that that back axle gets onto that line and lined up to the dock, because there's no adjusting that, you know what I mean? So that's the first thing you gotta do, is have that back axle going down that line to the dock. So all of your adjustments up to here are getting that back axle in the line. And then obviously all the adjustments after that are getting your dolly converter lined up to that back axle in the same line. And then getting your front trailer lined up to the back trailer. And just slowly do that, one axle at a time. Get them all lined up, starting at the back toward the front. All the while, trying to keep the nice gentle arc on everything so that nothing gets too kinked. The more of a nice gentle arc you have, the less pull-ups you'll have to do. Just slow small movements. Just keeping it going a little bit at a time, watching everything. Remember, this is why we left that room between you and the fence, because when you start swinging this front one around to line it all up, you gotta have that room. See here, our back axle's almost in the right line, so we gotta get this dolly converter to follow it right onto that line, so they're both on that line. Just one axle at a time. Keep them all going until they're all following that curve around there. See, I got a little bit too kinked here. Just do some pull-ups. Get that nice gentle arch going again, and then start going back again. Just trying to keep all this just like this the whole time around. That back axle's lining up pretty good. Just gotta get it over just a little bit more, but it's going the right way. Just keep trying to steer it with that dolly. And then also you want to get that dolly over on that line at the same, shortly thereafter, or at the same time, so that it's square with the dock. And then after lots and lots of slow and small adjustments, and lots of pull-ups, you finally get it where you want it. It goes right in. Now it's not perfect, but it's really close. If you were going to drop that back trailer in that dock and needed to have it perfectly squared, you could always pull up a little more and crank it around and kink that tongue right over there and make that trailer square, and you could drop it right there, nice and perfect in the lines. There you have it. Give me a like, leave me a comment, tell me how you do it, the tips you have to make it go smooth. Thanks for watching.